Hey everyone, Jesse from Bento here. Today I want to talk about France's new legislation and policy changes that impact you if you email any French resident and you have open or click tracking turned on. If you're a Bento customer, that's going to be you. If you use actually like any of our competitors, that's probably also going to be you. And so it's worth watching this video to understand what you have to do to be compliant with their new changes. I also want to say that these changes are likely going to come into place with other EU nations, not just France. France is going to put this into play, and they put this into play with the CNIL, which is a privacy body just for France. But Germany's probably going to see this and go, this looks great, we're going to do it too. And Italy's probably going to see this. All the countries are going to see this, and they're going to be inspired by it. So it's worth watching this video, even if you don't have any French subscribers, just so you understand what you can do if this comes into law elsewhere around the world. So let's go through what has changed. We wrote an article on our blog called Most Email Tracking Pixels Now Need Consent in France. That is a long form article detailing exactly what has changed. And I want to focus on the top up here, which is a summary. But basically, open and click tracking need consent moving forward. So if you are emailing, let's say, a newsletter, and you have 100% French subscribers, like a list of 100,000 French people, every single one of those people needs to give you consent before you send them an email, which is a huge change. And even if you're an American company emailing a French citizen, they need to give you consent before you can actually track them with open or click targeting. So the open pixel or a click redirect, which again is really crazy. It's a very big change. In addition, there are some exemptions. One is you are using open or click tracking for deliverability or security. So let's say you send a password reset email and you need to make sure people are getting them. That's okay. Let's say you have a double opt-in email where people are basically, they sign up and you say, hey, are you real? Do you actually want my emails? And they click that. You obviously need click targeting on or click tracking on that so they can, subscribe and confirm their address. That is okay. You're allowed to do that. What you're not allowed to do without consent is do any segmentation, any analytics. So in the newsletter example, you can't, if no one's consented, all your analytics are going to show 0%, 0%, and no data whatsoever. It's just going to be like a blackout. So it's a very, 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 very large change. I think it's going to be very challenging for French marketers to kind of navigate a lot of this. We got a very thoughtful question from Julian in our Discord, who's a French marketer. And he basically said, it's very hard to understand how a lot of these changes are going to impact me using Bento because it looks like we're going to lose all these really powerful features. And the sad thing is that's probably what's going to happen. We're probably going to, if you're a French business and you've got a majority French marketing list, then I think you're going to struggle compared to other nations. So let's, I'm going to scroll down a little bit. We've got a great table here, actually. This table kind of breaks down when you need consent. Again, as we discussed, if it's for deliverability or authentication, you don't need consent. But if it's kind of anything to do with marketing, you definitely need consent. So the next thing is all right, well, how do I manage this consent? And every platform is going to be different. If you look at other email marketing platforms, which I don't necessarily disagree with them, their attitude is all right, if you've got a lot of French users, just turn off tracking globally, which is a nuclear option. But some people are going to do this to be compliant. If you are very concerned about the legal risk here, then yes, turn it off globally. And you can do that in settings in Bento. So you can turn opens and clicks off globally. What you can also do, which I think is interesting, is you can manage it like this. So in Bento, what you could do is you could ask people for consent. So let's say in your opt-in form, it could have the email. You then need a checkbox to say, I consent to marketing, because that's for other laws. And then under that, you need a separate checkbox to say, I consent to being tracked. And if they tick that, what you may want to do in Bento is then add a tag called, France tracking consented or something like that. And then using Liquid, you can say, hey, if they don't have this, then we're going to disable click and disable open tracking. And so some users are going to want to do that. They're going to want to, on a per email basis, turn off click tracking and open tracking unless someone has consented. If you have a global audience, this is going to be a mess. I think it's going to be very, very tricky to handle because like Americans don't need this granular consent. And so you may have to have your liquid where it's like, if the user is French and they don't have this tag, then, disable everything. So yeah, it's a little bit tricky and it's a little bit messy, but this is what's coming to play and everyone now needs to be compliant. So to kind of recap what has changed. In France, as of today, you need to turn off open and click tracking unless someone has told you that they want open and click tracking. You are allowed to do open and click tracking on transactional emails or things where someone has to do an action that kind of kicks off a next step, like a double opt-in email or something like that. But for everything else, you need to turn it off. On Bento's end, as the processor, we're trying to work out ways to make this a little bit easier for our customers. The first thing that we've done is we've turned off open tracking for all .fr addresses just to help with compliance, like immediately. So if it's hotmail.fr, there's no open pixel tracking on that anymore. Click tracking, we're leaving on. It is up to you as the controller to turn that off. And it's up to you as a controller also to be compliant. Bento serves as the processor and we will do, whatever you tell us to do. But we're going to continue working on building some more tools to help with this because, again, I do feel like this is going to roll out to more countries other than France. So if you've got any questions, please send me an email or ask any questions in our Discord. And it's kind of pretty messy right now, but we'll see how it all plays out. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.